welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Well, folks, Saturday night will be the defining game moment of Joker's career. That's right. Denver defeats OKC in Game 6 in Denver. And again, I won't just limit it to Joker. We will also say Game 7 on Saturday also will define SGA's career. It just will. And when we look at things like this, a defining moment of somebody's career, we look at Michael Jordan against the Pistons in 91. Would he be able to win that series and go to the finals when they had the Pistons winning the series, coming into it, and winning a three-peat? Okay? Kobe Bryant, 2009. Would he win his first finals without Shaq? Or would he lose? It was a defining moment for Kobe Bryant. Also, to go back-to-back without Shaq was a defining moment, beating 3 top 75 players that beat LeBron James. So we remember, they said, oh, this Celtics team was unstoppable. It was the big three top 75 players. And Kobe Bryant was able to beat him and cement his legacy, some say as the greatest player of all time, but definitely a top 5 player of all time. These are defining moments. Bill Russell, although at the time winning 10 championships and just dusting off the competition in the 60s, 1969 was a defining moment for Bill Russell. Not that he had anything to prove at that point, but to me, to cement himself as a top 5 player, and not a guy that, you know, some people say, oh, he had all the help on his team, was not favored to win that Game 7. And heard all the ruckus. The owner of the Lakers at the time guaranteed to win, bragged about it in the media, already had the balloons ready in the rafters, and Bill Russell said, to hell with it. I'm not going for that. I can't go for that. And Bill Russell, knowing that a couple guys on that team were injury struck on the Lakers, told his team, as he also did, to run the hell out of the Lakers. Run them from end to end until they break down. And that's what happened to Wilt Chamberlain. They ran him ragged until he collapsed and couldn't even play the rest of the fourth quarter. And Boston won that Game 7 and won the championship. And it really defined Bill Russell as a top 5 player of all time. And many, you know, at the time, had Bill Russell like top 3 or something like that. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know. So, to me, for Joker, if he was to win Saturday, this would be his second 50-win team that he has beaten in 10 seasons. The second. And, you know, this would be actually a 60-win team if they beat OKC. It would be a 60-win team. So this would be his first 60-win team that he has beaten. I mean, that's tough. So look at here. The NBA changes every year in this era. It really does. It really changes as far as, you know, who we really think is going to win the championship and, you know, who's the best team. So I don't know, man. If OKC can't pull this off, there's no promise of tomorrow. There's no promise of tomorrow. Yes, they'll be a great team next year, but their championship odds are this year. The best odds that they're going to have is this year, to me. I just don't think you have any dynasties in this era because the style of play with these guys, the way these guys are coached, the way these guys are refereed, there's never going to be a dynasty in this era. It just won't be. What else you want me to say for SGA? I don't know, man. Was he like 7-8 years there, something like that? So I don't know. Or is he? I think he's 7. I have to go look at it. I think he's 6 or 7 years into his career. I don't know, man. They both had a good game last night. Joker wasn't all-time great, and that's what scares me. You know, it's something to be said. You know, if whoever wins this series, you know, the opponent in the next series better take notes, and that would be the Timberwolves. That you do not let Joker just control the ball at the top of the key. They have been trying to make Joker, I don't know, maybe more of a, in this series, OKC has, making Joker more of a conventional center, but they didn't let him just operate at the top of the key and run the offense in this series. I haven't seen it. And hey, that's the way you got to do. You got to shut down their strengths and make them play in their weakness. And that's what OKC has been doing. That still doesn't warrant, you know, Joker taking 14 shots a game. And, you know, he's been taking under 20 shots a game a lot. You know, and this is going to be the thing with me. I think Joker, what did he have, like 25 this game, something like that? And this is what I mean. A lot of players came through on his team and hit big shots and did big things. I ain't saying Joker played poorly or nothing like that, but he didn't put an all-time performance to win this. So, okay, this is what I'm going to say. I don't want to hear about, you know, his team needing to carry him in Game 7 to win. This is what I want. Joker needs to put up, you know, he needs to put up 30 points. I'm being serious. He needs to put up 30 points or better in Game 7 if they lose. I don't want to hear about nothing else. I don't want to hear nothing else. Because his team is always putting up, you know, this guy's putting up 20. This guy's putting up 25. This guy's putting up 20 when they win. So if they're not able to put up, you know, 3 guys able to put up 20 or 2 guys able to put up 20 or more, he needs to carry the load, man. I'm trying to say he needs to carry the load. He needs to have an all-time putting up 40 points and carry the load. 15 rebounds. Look, the assists, I don't care. If you want to run these assists, go ahead. A lot of them are fugazi. I won't say fugazi, overinflated. We need you to get 40 points in a loss. I'm just saying, if those guys aren't able to put up those points and you play some defense, I mean, wow. How many guys are grabbing offensive, you know, opponents grabbing offensive rebounds over Joker? How many guys are just going straight to the basket on Joker? So he's no inside presence as far as a threat. He's no threat. Nothing. He's not the threat inside as what a perimeter player or a great perimeter player on defense would be. He's not that. So again, we'll see what happens. I'm just saying we got to hold him to a standard. 3-time MVP. SGA will be held to a standard if he loses, and he has a bad game. What else you want me to say? But let's rewind it now. Let's rewind it now. I thought, you know, Denver was overwhelmed, going to be overpowered by OKC. Supposedly the greatest regular season. How could you be the greatest regular season team of all time when you're like number 7 or something like that as far as win percentage, I don't know how that really works, man. But anyways, this was supposed to be the greatest team of all time, right, on paper. And now they're being took to a game 7. Wow. They're being took to a game 7 by a number 4 seed. Not by a number 2 seed or number 3 seed, a number 4 seed. They're being taken to a game 7. To me, if this was the greatest regular season team of all time, they would have closed this out in game 6. They would have. They would have closed this out in game 6. This OKC team has proved nothing. They didn't prove nothing last year. They didn't prove nothing the year before. They haven't proved nothing this year. And here they are, to me, on one of the biggest collapses of all time. I don't care how good Denver is. And Denver's a good team. Denver's a good team. But for OKC to get all this hype, we're gonna, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna hold them to that standard. They're getting held to the same standard that they was hyped up to. The same standard. Which means if they lose, this is one of the biggest choke jobs in NBA history. Wouldn't that be? That'd be right there, right? In the East, that number 1 seed lost to a 4. So they would be losing to a 4 right here too. Cavs lost to a 4. And this would be OKC losing to a 4. And, you know, this will be on SGA. Where's these 40 and 50 point games? This is where Michael Jordan is just above and beyond everybody. Putting up these 50 point games, 60 point games, you know, 69 point games, 63 point games, 40 point games in the playoffs. Where are these guys at? So I'm just saying, I mean, the SGA and OKC in general is about to get held to a standard if they blow this in game 7 at home, if they blow this. And to me, they don't, you know, Denver don't have to win this. They don't have to win this. But to me, if Joker, like I said, if he scores under 30 points, that's it. And look, man, this could be a blowout. This is what's so crazy. This could turn into a blowout right here. OKC could get in a groove and just blow them off the court. It could turn ugly. So if Joker was to lose this, we would have to really, you know, we're going to have to hold him to a standard. And, you know, now we would have to look at his resume and see what we have. And to me, it would mean a couple of things. That he only beat 150 win team. He beat a Heat team. I think, if I'm not mistaken, either they were 8 or they were a play-in. At any rate, let me check this out real quick. I want to make sure. I want to make sure what seed they were. Oh. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Playoffs? Are you kidding me? Wow, you can't even find. I'm trying to find something. Oh, here it is. I'm like, man, I usually see this every single time. Here we go. So here's the bracket. Oh, yes. Yep. They were 8 seed. I want to say that I'm not for sure. They definitely were an 8 seed, but from what I remember, they were a play-in team. So they beat them 4-1, and they basically played nobody. Again, they played that Miami Heat team. So that would be his resume. In 10 seasons, 3 MVPs. If he don't win this one, that would be crazy if he did win this one. 1 championship, 0 statistical titles. You know, a lot of all NBA teams. I'm not for sure. I would have to go and look at that. And where would you put this guy? I mean, a career far from over? Yes. That would only be, like I said, 10 seasons. That's nothing in the NBA. I mean, you're out of your prime, but I don't know, man. And he just, I don't know, another year lost, and he would just be another great player, man. But, when we look at Oscar Robertson, he's got 1 championship. He don't have the MVPs, but look who he was going against. Who was Joker really going against for MVP? And that's what got me with that's what got me when Sports and Fitness Rants did a video on that. Not only his competition on a nightly basis at the center position, the all-time great centers, but who the hell is this guy going against in general for MVP? SGA every year? I mean, they actually had the nerve to talk about LeBron James in the MVP conversation. Really? Come on now. I mean, this is what we're talking about. So to me, I guess he would be going against Luka Doncic, Embiid, and Greek Freak for the MVP. Not a bad class when you think about it for this era, but this ain't the stiff competition, other guys were going against back in the day when Michael Jordan was going against, a lot of great players, Bird, Magic, Dominique Wilkins, maybe, Isaiah Thomas, some of those guys. And then we get into the 90s, Michael Jordan going against, the likes of Shaq, David Robinson, Hakeem, maybe Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone. These guys like that, it's just a whole different animal right there. And then, who was Kobe going against in the 2000s? Even, Shaq was in those talks, and Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki, and, the beat just goes on and on. Who's, of course, LeBron James. I mean, this is a whole different beast, a whole different competition that, these guys were going against. And then you look at the 60s who they were going against, Jerry West and Oscar Robertson and Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell and, these type of guys like that. It's just, it's a whole different animal. You're talking about guys you're going against back in those days who played offense and defense. I mean, just crazy. I mean, so, I mean, I guess, man, I don't know. All I can say is come Saturday, it's a defining moment. This game was what it was. Denver had to have this one. They hit big shots in the fourth quarter. And OKC did it. It's the same thing that's been going on. In game 5, OKC hit big shots in the fourth quarter. Denver did it. And so on and so on. And it's basically the whole series has been going like that. So, it might come down to whoever hits big shots, or it might be a blowout. One of these games was a blowout. And we'll see what happens, man. But, a lot of these guys' legacy, I wouldn't say on the line because they're not like 12, 15 years into the career, but I'm just saying this is, they're not 5 years into the career. So it's really defining what happens Saturday. It's going to be pretty good. And there's no excuses. And, it's other players had defining moments. And, the big thing is, you got to come, whether you win or lose, you got to come up big. You got to show up. It ain't about, this team was just better. I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. We never look at, guys like Charles Barkley or Karl Malone or John Stockton or Patrick Ewing. We don't look at them like, they didn't win a championship because they came up small. No, we don't look at that. They came up big, but the other team was just better. That's just how it was. Now, did they have some letdowns and some, sometimes? Yes. All great players do, whatever like that. But for the most part, 9 times out of 10, they came through. So this is one of these moments that's going to define their career. I don't think, one of their letdowns in a series defined their career because they came through so many damn times. So to me, this is, especially for Joker, this is the defining game right here that's going to tell everything. He took your MVP. It's a game 7. You want to beat the so-called best team of all time. You want to keep winning championships and yada, yada, yada. And the same thing with SGA, boy. He really got it coming to him if he loses this game 7. So both of these guys are under immense pressure. They're under a lot of pressure. But again, the biggest thing is if you lose, you better come up big. You better score and put points on the board. I don't want to see no 22 points on 50% shooting. Nope, I don't want to see none of that trash. Okay, so tell me what you think. I'm not here to give you all the stats. I could, but I just want to tell you the reality of what's about to happen. What happened last night, and everything. To me, the stats are irrelevant. To me, the stats are relevant. Like tomorrow, yes, the stats are real relevant. It really means something tomorrow. So, I'm not trying to say the stats are, it don't mean nothing, but I'm just saying, guys. Tell me what you think.